So, racism, the big elephant in the room. It seems almost silly that we have to address this. We fancy ourselves so advanced, so beyond such a petty issue. And then when it's put into words, by somebody like Dixon, you can actually sit there and it resonates with you and you say, wow, maybe we're not quite as far along as we thought we were. And that's where I am. I recognize that, in my day to day life, I wouldn't call myself a racist, but I have racist tendencies. I have racist tendencies because it's been so deeply indoctrinated in the institutions and our culture, in every facet of, anything that's been taught to me as I've been raised. Um, and it comes through. It comes through without you even thinking about it, without you, it's normal. And it's definitely time to, take a step in the right direction and take responsibility and acknowledge what's actually going on. And so, just the same way that I see people when I walk towards them on the sidewalk, you know, I don't think I look like a big threat. I'm like, 5'8", 150, but just the same, I don't have like tattoos or anything. I don't look like a threat, but just the same, just based on the color of my skin, people seem to, tense up. They seem to be scared. I was walking behind a Mexican girl in Belmont one time. She crossed the street. I was walking behind her. She crossed the street. I was like, this shit crazy. I was like, you brown too, motherfucker. But yeah, and at the same time, I'm from Oakland, and sometimes walking down the street, what I'm saying, I had the same. I even had the same reaction against people of my own color. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know this motherfucker. I don't know you from Adam, so I've been taught, you know, watch your back. But that's just another facet of the same shit. So it's hypocrisy in that sense. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. It's wild once you start to actually take inventory of it and you recognize really deep, how really deep that shit goes. It's real deep. And so, I fancy myself a person that uh, thinks a lot, tries to be considerate, and think outside the box. And, I always try to, uh, refine my thought process and think of new ways and think of ways to be positive, and try to, not fall into those pitfalls. But, just the same, I recognize that in my day to day, just in how I naturally operate, that's not that's not how I get down, and I got to do better. Um, at the end of the day, what this conversation tells us is we need, on a very, very, very fundamental level, we have to, check ourselves and stop using differences as ways to separate ourselves from one another. Because through those differences, we are oppressed, all of us collectively. And that is, the end game. That's our very differences are utilized to subjugate us and to keep us as pawns, you know, to the whims of, the people with the real power, the people with the real money, the real people who write the laws, the people that, run this country, America. And so I guess that's all I got to say for now. Just recognize that your differences, the way that you internalize, the way that you're different from the person next to you, is the very tool that's utilized, to keep you boxed in. That's all.